The delivery dropped that off over an hour ago. You're taking the van and handling this, right?
I'm on it.
Don't look very on it.
No? This is my very honest outfit.
Please let me get you some food. Let me get you out of here at least for an hour. Maybe you'll luck out and the place will burn down while we're gone.
1 hour? Then you'll leave me alone? All right. I'll meet you out front. I'll meet you out front in 5 minutes.
Something's happening to me. Something's happening to me.
Welcome home, Wynonna.
Something's happening to me. I feel myself changing.
Boom! Hello, everyone. Welcome
Dancing Constantine.
Dancing. Yeah, he's such a happy-go-lucky dancing guy.
He really is, always.
He's just a sweetie.
Yep.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Fandom Zone podcast, episode 67. God, we're getting up there.
That's
and
right.
I'm Charles Skaggs, and with me, as always, is my. Well, I'm getting there.
That's all right. You said I'm Charles Skaggs. I thought it would be nice to say I'm Karen Lindsay.
Well, go ahead and say I'm Karen Lindsay.
Okay, I'm Karen Lindsay.
There you go. With my special host with the most, Karen Lindsay.
You ruined it. And by the way, that was not a Funko figurine or a doll or anything. That was actually Charles standing up and dancing with a Constantine t-shirt on. It was awesome. I enjoyed it.
Well, to be fair, actually what I did is I just kind of jiggled the t-shirt around.
Well.
But still, fooled you.
It was very good.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan.
Yep. Yeah, I was in the mood for a little Constantine today.
And I have Some Princesses Don't Need Saving t-shirt.
Wonder Woman. Yep.
Who will be the president come fall.
Yes, Linda Carter.
And I would vote her into office any day.
If only we can make Linda Carter one of the actual presidential nominees.
I know, right?
Instead of settling for who's the least evil.
Right.
Which right now is a complete toss-up, apparently.
Yes,
so,
it is.
Yeah. So.
Well, I don't know.
Help us, Linda Carter. You're our only hope.
I think one of them is much more evil than the other at this point. I think one of them could do a lot more damage than the other one. Let's put it that way. But anyway.
Yes, but
pick your bets as to who I think.
Either way, it's not looking good.
Oh, no, it's not good either way.
Either way, but yeah. All right, so enough of that depressing.
Episode 67 for the week ending July 9th.
Yes.
Everyone.
Yes, well, I was getting to that. I was trying to get back to that.
What is this bizarre segue that's happening?
Shut up, you. Shut up, Blaine.
Blaine, early.
God, he's like a ninja. He lies in wait, and then he strikes.
He does. He was looking at me this time.
Man, he's gunning for me. All right.
Me,
so, yes, welcome once again to the Parsec Award-nominated The Fandom Zone podcast.
You're so cute.
I love saying that. All right, so we're going to only have 2 episodes this week because Outcast decided to skip the July 4th weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So we could have really rushed and done that, but so that people haven't watched it, so we figured, well, we'll just do these 2 episodes, which are going to be Preacher episode 6 and Wynonna Earp episode 4.
That's right. Sundowner, better take care.
I was thinking about that.
I know,
as soon as
right?
that episode title, Sundowner, from
right.
Preacher. But yeah, it's like, oh my God, Gordon Lightfoot flashbacks.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Very scary.
All right, so let's dive right in.
Let's do.
Preacher episode 6, Sundowner.
Directed by Guillermo Navarro.
Right.
Who
sounds like a mashup of Guillermo del Toro and Dave Navarro from Jane's Addiction.
Right.
Just saying.
He directed, listen to this.
Yep.
Jackie Brown, Hellboy, and Hannibal, amongst other things.
Mm-hmm.
So, amazing.
Well, he didn't direct Hellboy.
The movie.
The movie was Guillermo del Toro.
Oh, okay. Well, he had something to do with it.
Not Guillermo Navarro.
Maybe he was an assistant on it.
Maybe.
Looked up Guillermo Navarro. That was him.
Yeah.
And it was Hannibal the show.
Yeah. Okay.
So it may have been Hellboy the show, but it was Jackie Brown for reals.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe like the animated Hellboy.
Maybe it was.
Yeah. Maybe.
But anyway.
All right. So
still good credits.
and written by Nick Town.
Nick Town, part of Deadwood, written by Zach Whedon.
Ah, the other Whedon.
Right. And as a side note, since Zach is a Whedon, Nick Town has that Whedon connection, and he had a small role in Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog.
Someday we'll find it, the Whedon connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. La 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 la. Okay.
The NPHs, the Fillions, me.
No, I think that's something else. That sounds vaguely fanficky to me.
Well, a little bit.
Yeah, a little.
But they're in the Whedon circle of
a little.
The Ackers, the Fillions, and me.
There you go. There you go. All right. So, what's our A, B, and C today, Karen?
A story. Oh man, I shot soccer mom in the face.
I hate it when that happens.
Of course, that's a line from Pulp Fiction.
Right.
So, the B story is get rid of it.
Right.
And I mean it.
Yeah.
Quote unquote, as they use the word it in last episode, and it's a dual meaning, a triple meaning, a quadruple meaning.
Right.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. C stories, because the show is so complicated. The word
stories plural.
Right. Yeah. The word broadcasted.
And I see you put broadcasted id.
I did.
In our notes.
Right. Love trapezoid, fool's errands, and accidentally on purpose.
I hate accidentally on purpose.
Yeah, I know.
All right, let's get into this right now. So, oh man, I shot soccer mom in the face.
Yeah. And that's pretty much the main storyline. And what is this, like the best fight scene ever in all time?
Now, one thing you got to say about this show. Okay, yes, it's very slow paced.
Right.
But Preacher has the best openings.
Mm-hmm.
Like last week was just superb with the Cardinal of Killers, shall we say. And I know what you're thinking when I say that.
Philip Parrish.
Yeah. Yep. So we had that last week, and that was superb. And then this week, we finally get, in my mind, the first real, like, what the F did I just watch?
Right.
Episode of Preacher. Which is exactly what Preacher should be, in my mind.
That fight scene was amazing.
It was superb. I mean, it was just pure, unhinged, Tarantino-esque mayhem.
Mm-hmm. Crazy Town.
It was complete Crazy Town. It was Crazy Town squared.
And I love they were aiming for this. Don't kill her, restrainer. Don't kill her, restrainer. Right. And it's ruined in one fell swoop by Cassidy walking in,
right,
shooting her between the eyes and going, well, don't say thank you, mate. I mean,
yeah.
It was like...
Now I gotta run this down because every bit of this was so good.
Okay,
so, all right, so let's run this down. So we're basically, the episode opens at the Flavor Station with the Blanc and Fiore.
Exactly where it ends with them.
Exactly. Picking up exactly from episode 5. Thank you. Mm-hmm. They're talking to Jesse about the thing inside him isn't God. It's a mistake. And Jesse wants more details. DeBlanc's like, it's none of your business, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And they tell him it should never be used. So what does he do immediately right after that? He uses it to get them to tell him what it is.
Right.
So at last we finally get to talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
And we've kind of hinted at the name.
Right.
But so DeBlanc ends up telling him it's Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
Genesis? Genesis is Planet Forbidden.
We got it. Okay, this is the last episode we're going to use that.
I know, but I love it. I love it. I love that Star Trek 3 reset. I'm sorry.
Me too.
But, or as Cassidy said, Genesis, isn't that like a band or something?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, but so we get some background on Genesis, the thing inside Jesse Custer. So it's like somewhere during the war between heaven and hell, an angel and a demon fell in love. So ask your kids about it, or ask your yeah. Basically, if your parents ask your kids about it, they might explain it to you. All right.
It's what like the bloody band is what he said. Genesis? What like the bloody band?
Yeah, yeah. So it's so they got married in secret. They had sex and they bore a child,
Mm-hmm.
and that child is Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
So DeBlanc goes on to say that it's like the most powerful entity in existence, could shift the balance of power and destroy all creation. Okay.
Right.
So at that point, things get really hinky.
They de-evolve very quickly.
Yes, it goes right down because all of a sudden there's this woman eavesdropping.
Mm-hmm.
I've been dropping no eaves, sir. And who like leaves the flavor station. Okay.
Super shifty town.
Yeah, she's all shifty-eyed.
Right.
Yeah. And so Fiore and DeBlanc go out to the park.
This is audio only, right? So I appreciated your shifty look.
Yeah, the shifty look.
He gave a shifty look, and it was great, by the way.
Okay, yes.
You guys are missing.
Well, I just did that for you.
Okay, thank you.
But you can. It's nice of you to share that with
So
everybody.
she was really shifty.
So yeah, she's all shifty, and
excellent.
Thank you. And the woman. All right, so they go outside. They attack the woman. Jesse sees what's going on, intervenes because he's like, "Hey, what are these guys doing attacking this poor helpless woman?"
Attack this woman, yeah.
Right. So he goes out there, pulls him off of her, but then she's all like Terminator strong.
Right.
She's like a Terminator in a lot of ways. So
right.
She picks them both, like Jesse and Fiore up.
Right.
And holds them both up in in each hand.
Pinky and Jesse, yes.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, Pinky, because they're Fiore and DeBlanc. Fiore and DeBlanc.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. As we pointed out last week. Okay, so Fiore ends up shooting her through the head.
Mm-hmm.
And they end up putting the body in the car.
Right.
But of course, another of the same woman, like a clone, or as Cassidy would call him, a clone.
Right.
But yeah, it gets all clone club because the woman comes out, even, we find out what they call it is reinvigorated.
Right.
That's their term for it.
Yeah.
So, so they're coming out.
It's like a Xerox.
Yeah, pretty much. Exactly. It's like a Xerox, or it's like Agent Smith in the Matrix movies, where you get rid of him, but
not real at all. It's just
exactly. He shows right up, so it's like Agent Smith. So she comes after the guys again. Fiore leaves. It realizes he left his car keys in the flavor station, so they all take off in Jesse's truck. In the truck, DeBlanc and Fiore explain the woman's like one of the seraphim.
Mm-hmm.
The highest order of angel, for those who don't know what seraphim is. And
soccer film.
Pretty much, yeah. The soccer film.
Yeah,
I got it. Okay, because she's like a soccer mom. She looks like a soccer mom.
Exactly.
Which is exactly where your title came through. Yes, shooting soccer mom in the face. All right, so they talk about that their phone is a direct line to heaven and only works for those with angel hands.
Right.
Which I'm sure is a plot point for some reason. But
they said it.
Yeah, they said it, so who knows? So the Seraph takes Fiore's keys, opens their car. She finds a Holy Bible inside with the address of the Sundowner Hotel. Dope! So now she can find them because she's like the Seraphiminator.
There you go.
That's my word, the Seraphiminator.
Sarah
Connor? Seraphim Connor? No, it'd be more... I like Seraphiminator better.
Seraphiminator's better, but her name is Sarah Connor, so...
That's true, yeah.
I would want to hang something on that.
Seraphim
Connor.
Is your name Sarah Connor?
Is your name Seraphim Connor?
Seraphim Connor. That's her middle name, Fim.
Seraphim
Connor. Yeah.
Well, that would make her a serial killer then, right?
That's true.
Because you got to have 3 names.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's a prerequisite. Even though everybody has 3 names, but you don't get to use them unless you become a serial killer.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So at the hotel, Fiore and DeBlanc explain they're wanted for coming to Earth without permission.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse
figures the wanted poster.
Yeah, exactly.
So great.
So Jesse figures he can just use Genesis, and DeBlanc explains that both sides were embarrassed by Genesis. That agreement was made. No one can know that Genesis is out. And then DeBlanc tells Jesse he needs to sing to get it to come out.
And Fury's like, or
Yeah,
DeBlanc is like, no, I can sing and get it out.
right. So there's a little dispute on there about
Yeah.
that.
Fury
So-
is not.
No, Fiore destroys their phone. He beats the crap out of that phone.
He sure does.
And then probably because he's tired of it ringing off the hook.
Well, he knows they're already
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
wanted, so
yeah,
what's the point?
exactly. So there's a knock at the door. Guess who it is?
Soccer film.
Yep, Soccer Film shows up. I like that too, Soccer Film. Okay, let's go with that too. All right, Soccer Film bursts in, shoots DeBlanc and Fiore. Okay, so, and this is where everything breaks loose.
All hell breaks.
All hell breaks loose.
All heaven breaks.
All
loose.
heaven breaks loose. That should have been the A title. All heaven breaks loose.
All heaven breaks loose.
Yep. So Fiore comes back, tries to stop Jesse from. Oh, I'm sorry. I lost track because there's so much craziness going on. Sorry.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. All right. Jesse fights the Seraphim long enough for Fiore to reinvigorate and attack it again.
Mm-hmm.
Soccer Film kills Fiore again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Fiore comes back, tries to stop Jesse. Jesse kills Soccer Film.
Right.
Fiore kills DeBlanc so he can reinvigorate.
Right, because he's dying in the tub.
Exactly.
Right.
And they all prepare for Soccer Film to come back. And DeBlanc tells Jesse that they need to restrain it, not kill it.
Right.
Don't kill it.
Right.
If you kill it, it will keep coming back. And it will not stop. Oh, wait, that's Terminator. Sorry. Yeah. See how easy it is to select Terminator. All right. Okay, so Soccer Film attacks them through the walls.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse shoots her, kills her again. And then Soccer Film reinvigorates inside the hotel room. They end up fighting again. The bodies, meanwhile, are piling up in this room.
Yes. So great.
Hilariously so.
Yeah. And I love, especially after Jesse shoots the hole in the wall.
Right. That when you pull back, the camera pulls back, and you're watching like flashes of light as bodies drop, and they keep coming back, like a Looney Tunes cartoon. Or
oh no, what's that British series?
Oh, Benny Hill.
Benny Hill, yeah.
Yeah. Yakety sax starts.
Yeah, that's what it looked like, and you know, shots going out, and
craziness.
So great.
So the bodies are piling up. Cassidy shows up at this point, shoots Soccer Film right in the head.
Yep.
Oh.
They're trying to restrain.
They're trying to. Yeah.
So close.
Right. They're so close to pinning her down, and then Cassidy's like, "Oh, here, I'll just shoot her."
Oh.
And everybody's like, looks at him, you know, and he's like, "What?" And he's so what?
He's waiting on them to say thank you to him.
Yeah.
Is the thing. He's like, okay, so don't say thanks.
Right.
Hello, I just saved you.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, I hate you right now.
Exactly. So
all three of them.
So of course she reinvigorates. They keep fighting.
Yep.
Cassidy finally knocks her out, and then Fiore disarticulates her.
Right.
With a chainsaw.
Right.
Basically chops off her limbs and sticks her in the tub.
Right. So she can't come back.
Right.
And she also can't hurt them.
Right.
Which is the perfect thing to do.
Right. But wouldn't she die from the blood, like bleeding?
Why? She's not really a person.
That's true. Maybe she doesn't bleed out. Okay. Interesting. So at that point, they Fiore and DeBlanc explain they're Genesis's custodians, the babysitters of Genesis.
With just custodians.
Yeah. But it escaped. They don't know how it escaped, nor do they know why it's inside Jesse.
Why did it choose him? Yeah.
Why did it choose him? So Jesse's like, dude, I'm keeping this totally.
Right. And see, the thing is, I understand Jesse's logic at this point because he thinks it chose him for a reason.
Right.
And he's saying, well, if you don't know how it got away and why it chose me, then maybe it chose me for a reason.
Right.
And if you can't explain it, then I got to hear it from the highest authority.
And then it kind of leads into, I'm guessing, the get rid of it. Or is
sort of. That's also...
Or is that more Eugene?
That's Eugene.
Oh, okay.
Really.
Okay.
But...
Okay.
Eugene's story.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Eugene. Yeah, we'll get into Eugene's story
See how
here.
that's like different levels of it?
Yes, I understand that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I thought the get rid of it was last episode, where you had the waitress talking about it.
He actually says get rid of it.
Oh,
He says it to Jesse at the
yes,
end.
yes. Oh, that part. I get
Right.
it. I get it.
Right.
Okay.
And also they have said it to refer to him
Okay.
in the past. So
Yeah. So yeah, basically, before we get into that, the DeBlanca Fiore still keep trying to get Jesse to give them Genesis. Jesse's not doing that. He says, they're trying to tell Jesse that God doesn't want this, but Jesse's just like, if God wants Genesis, he can come and get it.
right. He's making a fist.
Yeah, basically drops the mic and
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, come on, bring it.
That's right. And he knows that he can command these two with the word.
Yep, so he
So
does.
he does.
So he
Leave
tells
me
them
alone.
to stay away. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so that was exhausting, but I had to
That
go.
fight-
I had to talk about everything because it was
Yeah.
just so crazy.
That fight was amazing.
Yeah.
If you don't watch Preacher, seriously, you have to go and look up this fight at the very least because it is amazing.
Me running it down just now does not do it justice.
No,
I mean, you just have to check it out for yourself. But
it is amazing.
but everything I just described is in there, and just it's fantastic.
And then tack on the little part afterwards where Jesse and Cassidy are standing in their tidy.
Yeah, and that's
Neither of them are white, so tidy blues or tidy blacks, whatever.
grays or something. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, but this is the kind of Pulp Fiction reference I was referring to.
Right, which I got completely,
Right.
but I was just saying he was making a fist in this episode.
Yeah,
Jesse was saying, "I'm keeping it. I don't care what you think. I'm finally deciding my fate when it comes to this thing."
and Jesse seems to be kind of creeping over to the dark side a little.
Yes. Oh, a little, a lot.
Well, I'm just saying by the
Yeah.
I was setting
By
it up.
the end of the episode.
Yeah, by the end of the episode, yeah, it kind of reaches a boiling point.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that.
He's simmering.
But the washing machine scene.
Yeah.
Where they're kind of
that
standing
was
on watching.
so great.
There's a hilarious moment where Cassidy, like, he puts his hand under his armpit and smells it to see if he smells good.
And he says he's rank or something like that.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's pretty ripe.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he wants to go take a shower, and Jesse reminds him, well, when the washing machine's on, it's only cold water. And he's like, oh.
Yeah.
Like Cassidy can't stand cold water. I mean, come on, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've been in worse.
Well, who wants cold water when you can have hot water?
Sure.
Yeah.
I guess so.
But it's Cassidy. It's like, why not just wait? Because so what?
Right.
Right.
But I love that scene because they're just standing there looking at the washer and dryer in underpants.
Yeah, so the scene in Pulp Fiction I'm referring to, for those who don't know, is the scene where Jules and Vincent Vega, so we got Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta's characters, are standing. Basically, been told to strip down.
After they've cleaned out the car from Vincent's mess.
Yeah, Vincent basically blows this guy's head away in a car, blood everywhere. So they
face, which is the line.
Yeah, so they get the cleaner to come in.
Mr. Wolf.
Mr. Wolf, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And so Mr. Wolf tells Jimmy, who's played by Quentin Tarantino,
right,
to hose them down.
Yeah. And it's cold water, but they're both standing there in their tidy whities.
To hose off the blood off of them and everything. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's very Pulp Fiction-esque, this scene.
Yes, it is. And Cassidy actually makes a reference to Pulp Fiction.
Right.
While they're standing there.
It's like, I want to be Samuel L. Jackson or something like that.
Right. They're talking. He says something about Pulp Fiction, and Jesse says, okay, then I'll be Vincent Vega. And then Cassidy says something like, okay, then I guess I'm Samuel L. Jackson. I'm all right with that. And that's when he sticks his hand in his armpit and goes, oh, that's buggy. Or whatever it is.
Something like that. Yeah.
So great. And I love that they're just standing there. Neither of them look amazing in their underpants. Neither of them are super manly in their tidy whities.
No,
I mean, if they were wearing designer underpants, that would be one thing. But
they're kind of skinny dudes,
right?
And
not bad looking dudes.
No,
but
and Jesse kind of looks like he has a big head without his clothes on, doesn't he? Right? I mean, it's because of his hair
Right.
and that pompadour, but it makes him look like he has a really big head.
Huge. Yeah, kind of like a South Park cartoon head.
Or a Funko figure?
Yes, kind of. Yeah, and
Okay, so it wasn't just me who noticed that then.
no, and then after all that, they compare their tats,
Hmm.
which is an interesting scene as well.
Right. And it kind of sets up the whole tulip confrontation.
Where they actually do
But
find out
that's our C story. We'll get
that's
to
the
that.
love trapezoid
So,
thing.
all right, so let's get into real quick because we kind of ran long on this one.
Yeah.
Let's get into the B story, Get Rid of It.
Sure.
And this is kind of sets up our cliffhanger for the episode
Yeah.
where Eugene, poor Eugene.
What do you mean, poor Eugene?
Well,
Not in this episode, poor Eugene, but
kind of poor Eugene because there was a bit at school
Mhm.
where he's sitting at lunch all by himself, of course.
Mhm.
Nobody likes him. These kids come by. Now, this is after, probably months and months of Eugene getting crap from everybody.
Yep.
Everybody in town hates him. So naturally, he's a little caught off guard when these kids come by to sit with him at lunch.
Right.
He's like, okay, what are you guys up to? Essentially.
He's very wary.
Very,
Yeah.
very skittish, understandably so. All right, so these same kids come by and they invite Eugene to go see something awesome. Okay, so Eugene and that kid and then some other kids, a couple other kids, they go to this like outdoors and there's like a fenced off area that has a tunnel pipe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they go inside the tunnel pipe. They get through the fence.
Man, I was so wary of that.
I think everybody on Twitter was freaked out like, oh no, they're going to hurt Eugene.
Yeah.
This is all a big setup. Everybody's just like, it's a trap. It's a trap.
And meanwhile, for those of us that read the comics, we were like, well,
Yeah. But that was a pretty obscure.
It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah.
So anyway, everybody watching this is like, oh, they're going to do something mean to Eugene.
Right.
Turns out they just wanted him to look at some cool fireworks they were going to set off inside the pipe.
And it was really neat looking.
Yeah, because I mean it's all dark, and then all you could see was the fireworks and the the expression on Eugene's face when he's watching. He's just like, "That's beautiful."
Yeah, it was wonderment.
Yeah. So
and I thought, what a great thing Jesse did.
Right. Yeah.
But no, apparently.
But Eugene apparently is a little ungrateful.
A little.
Okay, a lot. And so he goes to Jesse later in the episode. Okay.
Now,
and
here again is, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
go ahead.
Jesse's word always backfires.
Yes.
And here is why. No one is happy with what happens. And in this case, Eugene can't just be happy with being happy.
Right.
Okay, so he goes to Jesse.
I think it's more like you have to use it for very small things.
I guess.
If it's like a major significant change, then it backfires. But so Eugene goes to Jesse. He's pretty upset about what's been going on because apparently he's been thinking that he doesn't want to be forgiven.
Right. And how he was forgiven was cheating.
Yeah, it bothers him. He doesn't think God would like that. He does, at least not how Jesse did it. He says it's cheating. Jesse's just like thinks that he's incredulous at this point. He's just like, oh, you're just hard to please.
Meanwhile, so was I.
Yeah, he's like, what is it gonna take to make you happy, kid?
Right.
Yeah, come on. It's like, I got people off your back. Isn't that a good thing?
Right.
And Eugene says he didn't ask Jesse to make him happy.
Right.
So apparently,
he kind of did.
Yeah. Well, he says that like it's God's will what he's doing. He's trying to save the town, and he's trying to make people see the light.
Right.
And then Eugene says, "Well, you can't make people see the light," because I think Eugene is like, this is a discussion about free will.
Right.
And he tells Jesse that it's a sin. People have to choose.
Except in Jesse's case, they don't have to choose.
Exactly. Well, I think that's Eugene's whole issue.
No, I understand. But, Jesse's like, no, they don't.
Exactly. So Jesse's like really frustrated by this point, uses Genesis, and he gets all angry at this point.
Right.
He uses
Without
Genesis.
thinking about it.
Yeah, he uses the word to tell Eugene, literally go to hell.
Right.
Okay.
Oops.
And all of a sudden, Jesse turns around and sees this piece of paper that Eugene was holding floating to the floor of the church.
Yep.
Eugene, nowhere in sight.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
Dope.
Don't. Boom, 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 boom.
I was hitting it. Takes a minute.
But yeah, don't. So yes.
Again with the backfiring.
So Jesse has literally told Eugene to go to hell, and apparently that's where he went.
Right. So Eugene came to the church and said, get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
And since they have been calling Eugene it, I also used that to mean
Right.
Jesse got rid of it.
So I have 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is he in hell?
1, well, one, is he in hell? And 2, will he meet Lucifer Morningstar there? Wouldn't that be awesome? But
Tom Ellis?
yeah, wouldn't that be fun? Yeah. Actually,
probably
I
not.
kind of have 3 questions about Eugene.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Eugene, arse face.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just throwing this out there. If he sneezes,
Will it come?
will he use a tissue or will he use toilet paper? Just throwing that out there.
Amaze balls. Yeah. Okay.
Just a weird thought I had.
Best question ever.
Think about it. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
That's very good. I like it.
All right. Just throwing that out there with just a little curious about arse face.
Would it be quilted?
Right. Yeah. Or lotioned, with the lotion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I can't use the
to keep his skin nice and smooth.
Ooh,
Not.
yeah.
Not. Okay.
And
All right,
quickly, of course, love trapezoid
Yeah,
would be that Cassidy saw the tulip, realizes that.
Yeah. It kind of turns into Three's Company at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come and knock on our door.
We've been waiting for you.
I've got a putter that says.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, because Tulip runs into Cassidy at the church. Then all of a
That's
sudden,
also fool's errands.
right. Because she's trying to help. Tulip's there to try to help Emily do errands.
Sort of.
Yeah, sort of.
I mean, she is running the errands, so I thought maybe she'd blow it off.
But I think part of it is just to get close to Jesse, an excuse to see Jesse.
Right, and if that means she's got to cozy up to Emily, then
So be it.
right.
Yeah.
So she's running these errands for Emily, and she shows up at the church with all the supplies, which she actually did gather.
Right.
And of course, Cassidy's there because they're back from their escapades in the hotel room and being
after their Pulp Fiction
cleaned,
scene. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is when Cassidy.
Hopefully he did shower. Hopefully.
Right. Cassidy thinks that Tulip is following him.
Right.
And he hears Jesse call her Tulip and realizes that Tulip's boyfriend is the same guy that's his friend. And there's a whole mess.
It is kind of mess, and it's kind of an important mess. And I'll explain why. Tulip, like when Jesse comes by, opens the door to the small room where she and Cassidy are in talking.
It's like a supply closet.
Exactly. Thank you. And so she shoves Cassidy to the side behind the door so that, and she doesn't tell Jesse, like she's basically trying to keep her whole thing with Cassidy a secret.
Mm-hmm.
And Cassidy, at this point, you could see the look on his face when he hears Jesse and Tulip. They're sharing memories about this putter that Jesse used to have. Like, oh, you kept it. And,
right.
Yeah, and that whole thing. And they're kind of laughing and giggling about it a little bit. But Cassidy has this very pained look on his face.
Right.
And it's right here. And people should take a note of this scene because it kind of sets up Cassidy's resentment toward Jesse because of Tulip.
Right.
And it's very important in the preacher mythos.
A lot of sandpaper there.
Yeah. So just kind of keep this one tucked away where you can remember it because it's kind of important a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah. It just basically starts a series of dominoes falling.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I just want to give that a little emphasis.
Very true.
Yeah. So.
Very true. And this is a love triangle that happens in the comic book as well.
Yes.
Very much so.
It's kind of more like Cassidy is just fixated on Tulip, but she's in love with Jesse. Jesse's in love with her,
Right.
and
Never the
and
twain
and, and
shall
Cassidy's really not part of the equation, really,
right.
except in his head he should be.
And Tulip leads him on a lot.
A bit, yeah. I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Cassidy is not happy being friend zoned.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
He's not used to it, for one thing.
Right.
So yeah, that's
It is, and so
unfortunate.
yeah, it sets up some resentment that
It's
will
unfortunate.
factor in later on.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Should. Yeah.
Well, since they're using it here, I'm assuming they're going to draw that into
Exactly. Well, I thought, yeah, because since they introduced this, I'm like, good. This feels like Preacher to me now. It's getting more and more like that.
Right.
Okay.
Really, the only two left are the word broadcasted and broadcasted.
Yeah.
And that I only bring up because how damaging is that going to be when he puts up a big loudspeaker outside the church and he's going to talk in it?
Yeah. Yeah, that this whole loudspeaker, and Cassidy is like, "Are you sure you want to do this?"
Right.
More like, "Are you sure you want to do this?"
Yeah.
Yeah, but
that could be bad.
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Okay, and then accidentally on purpose, of course, would be the whole mayor trying to get right with his conscience. Should I do the right thing or should I do the wrong thing?
Yeah, he goes to Jesse. He's very vague about it. He's like, well, he's thinking about Odin King Cannon, and he's like, I got to do something about him. But he doesn't tell Jesse specifically.
Right.
But he's kind of looking for guidance. Jesse just tells him, well, do what's in your heart. And you're like, don't listen. Like, the mayor thinks it's God's will what he's doing. And Jesse's more of the opinion, well, it's that if it's God's will, like, I'm not quite sure that you and God are really on the same page. Are you just hearing your own voice?
Right. Are you hearing God's voice or is it your own voice?
Yeah, yeah. Right. So he goes off.
He can't make a judgment because the mayor, of course, won't tell him what it really is, and he's very frustrated. And so at about the halfway point of their talk, he kind of dismisses the mayor and says, well, if you're not going to tell me anything, then I can't really help you. You're going to have to decide whether it's your own inner voice or whether it's really God's voice telling you.
Right.
And ultimately, he realizes that he's just going to go with whatever gets him in the least amount of trouble.
Right. And then the next time we see the mayor, we're at the site of a horrible car accident. And this is kind of where the show ends. Car accident with laser beams.
Right.
Yeah, so these bodies inside are burnt to a crisp. And I'm guessing pretty closely that it's the bodies that the mayor shot.
That King shot.
Yeah, so he calls Green Acres.
Yeah, and says there's been a horrible accident.
No. So
and last I checked, burning bodies still have bullet holes in them.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm sure this will turn out well because no one could figure out that bodies that were blown away suddenly appear in a car accident.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So there's that. The only other Thank you.
You're welcome. But it's come back on the mayor.
Yes.
Not so much Kincannon.
Well, maybe, we'll see. We'll see how that plays out.
The person that reported it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, they never showed up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So now one thing I did want to bring up, you kind of touched on it earlier real quick before we, Jesse's tattoo.
Right.
Because he mentions this skull tattoo on Jesse's back. Cassidy notices it.
Right in the middle of his back, yeah.
And Jesse says, a mean old lady gave it to him.
Right. Now,
mean old lady is most likely a reference to none other than Grandma.
Grandma, yeah.
Who is this really twisted character from Jesse's past.
Yep.
That
it looks like they might be headed down that road.
That I'm guessing is going to be season 2.
Yeah.
And won't that be disturbing? So basically, like, kind of picture Deliverance meets Preacher.
Right. So if you don't think things are twisted enough.
Yes. Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome to season 2.
Yeah.
Yep. In which we are getting season 2, by the way. So
yep,
it's been confirmed.
Alrighty.
So yes, we are getting that. So that was kind of interesting that we're teasing Grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay.
And I also enjoyed the scene between Emily and Tulip at Emily's house
That was good. Yes, it was.
because she breaks.
Well, after Tulip barged in again, she just
Right.
walks right in. She doesn't give a crap about.
Right.
She has no F's to give.
No
where
empathy.
where
No
it comes to
empathy,
personal
right.
space.
Right. She breaks stuff. She throws stuff around. But it seems like when she watches Emily with her daughter, that's when she softens and she realizes this woman actually has troubles of her own. I get that. And maybe she does want some sort of an escape from life. I get that. And yeah, she might have designs on my boyfriend, which is how she thinks of Jesse.
Yep.
But if I want to get in good with my boyfriend, I gotta be in league with her.
I also got something else from that scene. I think it's more that Tulip has some serious mother issues.
Yeah, definitely.
And she watches Emily with her daughter who's sick. She's taking care of her sick daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like you said, that's what really
She's
affects her.
longing for that sort of relationship, and she's sad about it.
Now, she does talk about she had a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's her own guilt over losing her kid.
Mm-hmm.
So she kind of gives Emily a break. And
I think there's a lot of different things
yeah,
happening. there.
there's a lot going on with Tulip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she does tend to soften towards her at that point.
Yeah.
And I think that's her turning point, is watching her with her daughter.
Yeah,
so.
then so
I don't think she likes Emily very much, even still.
mm-hmm.
Because what's this word?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's still a bit of shortness there between.
Well, I think that's just Tulip. She's just naturally abrasive. Yes. Yeah. So it's she's not. Yeah. She just kind of very harshly. She doesn't really have the good social skills that she needs.
Any social skills.
Any social skills. Yeah.
Good or bad.
Yeah. Tact is not exactly a word in a Tulip's vocabulary.
No.
So, all right. So, what's your rating?
My rating is 9 Hitachi Magic Wand Massagers. And if you're female, you will probably know what that is.
Or if you watch porn, just saying. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's right. That's right. I didn't see any attachments, though. So.
Not that I've watched porn. No.
Not that I have anything like that.
Hey, now.
But what?
What? Who said that? Phrasing?
Phrasing.
Yeah, thank you. But.
So we're just done with phrasing, right? That's not a thing anymore?
Okay. All right.
So what's the rating?
My rating is kind of in reference to that Emily Tulip exchange. 9 out of 10, and we're in sync this week.
Mm-hmm.
Broken art things.
Very nice.
Or, excuse me, broken art things.
Broken art things.
Yeah. So, which was a reference to that little ugly little sculpture that
whatever it was
that Emily's daughter made for her, and she doesn't really like, but her kid made it, so she keeps it around. And Tulip broke it. She smashed it in this, in this tempestuous rage that she has coming in. And
you broke my daughter's art thing, so thank you. And then she walks back in the house.
She comes back in the house later on and says, "I'm here to fix your art thing."
Right. I'm here to fix your daughter's art thing.
Yeah. So I kind of thought that was funny.
It was great.
All right.
I loved it.
Okay. Finally.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to clarify, by the way, that Guillermo Navarro, he was a cinematographer on the Twilight movies and on Hellboy the movie, Pan's Labyrinth.
Okay, so Guillermo Navarro worked for Guillermo del Toro.
Correct.
Got it.
And it was Jackie Brown, Stuart Little, Spy Kids, Desperado, The Cisco Kid, all those movies. So
dude has a resume. Nice.
That's right. And also director on Hannibal the show.
That's probably why he was a good fit for this opening sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
I have to think that
I wanted to make sure I had the right guy.
Right. Now part of me though is wondering, well, okay, Quentin Tarantino once directed an episode of CSI.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it be great if Quentin Tarantino directed an episode of Preacher?
It would be amazing.
Oh,
Amazing. Please.
somebody make that happen. Somebody get on the phone to Tarantino and see if
Even better if we could get like the 10 year ago Quentin Tarantino, but
yes,
if he had like
yeah.
a real urge to do this.
Maybe he would be inspired.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Or Robert Rodriguez would be a great fit too.
Oh,
Robert Rodriguez should direct an episode of Preacher.
Robert Rodriguez would be.
So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Wynonna Earp.
Wynonna Earp. So Earpers, this is
The
your moment
Blade.
to shine. Episode 4, The Blade.
Was an interesting one.
Written by James Hurst, directed by Paolo Barsman.
Okay, James Hurst.
Who also directed the pilot episode.
Oh, good. James Hurst from Degrassi, of course.
Right.
And also Zaboomafoo, the children's show.
Say what?
Zaboomafoo, the children's show, which is about meerkats.
Okay.
Very awesome.
I'll take your word for it.
A lot of adults like that show. I liked it, actually. It was very cool. And Paolo Barsman, the director, Lost Girl Killjoys Being Human.
Okay.
Same old.
Yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What's our A, B, and C, Karen?
A story, The Man in the Mirror. I'm looking at the man in the mirror.
I just, as an aside, my niece Serenity loves this song.
Yeah.
She's only like 12.
Oh.
But she loves Michael Jackson's The Man in the Mirror song. So much so that she sang it over and over and over again when she was just out here a month ago in Columbus.
I'm sorry.
But she's adorably cute, so
it's a no-brainer.
It's kind of hard to get mad at her because, she's just being adorably cute. So yeah,
it was either that or to use the. I guess is it a Donna Summer song? Mirror, 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 mirror.
I don't know, or is it like a Diana Ross maybe?
Diana Ross, maybe. Yeah.
I don't know. But
I don't know. Anyway, but The Man in the Mirror is a better description of this. So anyway, I use that. And then taken from a line from the actual show, a big bunch of bratty babies.
Nice.
And then rite of passage.
Right. Okay, so Man in the Mirror is obviously a reference to this week's Revenant.
Right.
And I thought it was a little lame.
A little derivative.
I was not really impressed with this Revenant at all. I think they just look cartoonish at this point.
A little Westboro Bible Church and bad makeup.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I think that's what got me the most is this horrible makeup with these really cheesy sideburns and. Yeah,
the Revenant of the Week was not the compelling part of this episode for me.
Yeah, if we could get past like, okay, we've met every single member of the 7. And kind of explored storylines and whatnot.
Right.
I think I would be better off, but maybe it's just that's the whole premise. It's supposed to be light and.
Yeah, I guess so.
I can kind of see flip sides of the same coin in this one.
Right.
So, but anyway, just one of the things that bugged me. This villain. So yeah, basically we find out that this Revenant of the Week used to be a barber in town.
Mm-hmm.
And what is his deal here? That shoot, what is it?
He wanted to save people.
That's right. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I kind of lost my.
It's all right. And he was tied to some reverend that was in town.
Yeah, Father Malik.
Right.
Who we find out is just like this other revenant that is apparently a paraplegic.
Well, he's not a revenant. He's a person.
Oh, he's a person? I thought he was a revenant.
No, he's a person.
Okay, I thought he was a revenant. Because, this father was this woman-hating murderer convicted in his former glory for killing women. And apparently he doesn't bother, like, cleaning himself. And he kind of wallows in his own filth. There's a scene where Wynonna and Dolls are told, like, they're sent by Bobo, like,
right.
After confronting Bobo and getting all up in his grill,
right.
Bobo directs them, like, well, if you want to find Father Malik, all you have to do is follow the smell.
Right.
Which says a lot right there.
Is he a revenant? Why didn't they kill him then?
I thought it was a revenant. Why didn't it? Well, because they remember it was the whole area is revenants.
Right.
So maybe they just felt outnumbered.
Okay.
But yeah, I thought that was a little weird too. It's like, okay, I thought your job Wynonna
He's
was
legless.
to kill all the revenants.
Just kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Whatever.
start shooting with
Right.
Peacemaker.
Right.
They're everywhere.
All right.
They're
whatever.
like snowflakes. They're everywhere. Come on, but yeah, it's just some logic that just threw me. Yeah. Okay. Little major plot hole there. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So this barber, it turns out he's been going around town.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh,
Bubba warns that there will be consequences if Malik is harmed, and the other revenants cock their rifles.
oh, okay. So he's basically saying, yeah, don't touch
You're
Father.
outnumbered.
Don't touch Father Malik. Okay.
Okay.
So in order to get out of there, since they're kind of, yeah, basically
They're really outnumbered.
They're really outnumbered.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess
That makes sense.
they're like, okay, that does make sense because it says, okay, we'll leave him alone. You got me.
If we want to get information.
Right.
Okay.
So, so this woman, this is where they get involved in this whole thing. Is there's this woman named Megan Lynchford that gets killed because the revenant, the barber, comes through this mirror, slices her throat with a razor blade, a straight razor, of course. And they Dolls and Wynonna show up. They find Megan's bloodless body on this mirror, which says "Repent, sinners."
No one's gonna hurt you.
That, of course, is what leads them to Father Malik.
It's like the demon barber.
Yeah. So he goes around. There's another woman named Sarah Parker who was one of Wynonna's high school frenemies. Yeah.
Did anyone like her in high school? Do you think?
I don't think so.
No.
So I don't. So the impression we got, that Wynonna was about the least popular person in high school. Let's see here. The last person, so the Sarah Parker was the last person Megan talked to before she was killed. Megan wanted to confess to Sarah that she killed her father in a hit and run when the girls were in the 11th grade, needed Sarah's forgiveness.
Right.
Okay. So in the process, the barber ends up targeting Wynonna.
Right.
And so Wynonna feels like she has to go around town trying to get everyone that hates her, and apparently this is a really long list, to forgive her. She's got like 2 hours to do it, or otherwise, the demon barber of Fleet Street here Sweeney Todd will, come through the mirror and kill her. So she goes around town trying to butter everybody up, and it kind of gets into wacky hijinks.
Yep.
Because she apologizes to one guy for dumping him in favor of this other guy that he's playing pool with. Stuff like that. A little awkward there, just a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since they're standing together.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. And so they eventually take out the barber.
Right. By going to a lake.
Yes.
And shooting at the lake, and then he appears. And I am not quite sure how that happens, but whatever.
Yeah, it's big hand wave. Well, because the lake reflects.
I get that.
Okay.
But why does he show up?
Who knows?
Yeah. And of course, who she really needs forgiveness from is her sister.
Right. That's kind of an important point, because
who wants to be the heir.
Which this resentment that we've kind of been getting from Waverly comes full out. Into the open, and when we find out that Waverly is just resentful because, as we suspected, she wanted to be the chosen one, doesn't think Wynonna should be the chosen one.
Right.
She's been doing all this stuff and training and everything, getting ready for it, but then Wynonna ends up as the chosen one, and so she's a little resentful for it. And of course, on top of Wynonna shooting her dad and losing her sister and all this.
Right.
So, yeah.
Exactly. But of course, the whole thing is she is ultimately forgiven, because in order for Wynonna to move, because until you're forgiven, you can't move.
Yeah.
So in order to move, she has to be forgiven for realsies.
Right.
By Waverly.
Yeah, and that allows Wynonna to shoot the barber with the
around and shoot her up.
Yeah, and that's where we're ended. Okay. All right, so there's that.
Right.
A big bunch of bratty babies.
That's really I use that term. It's from another storyline, but I'm really using that for the people from the town that are all like backbiting and all that. So we kind of covered that anyway.
Right. Okay.
All the girls that are hating on her.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
all that stuff.
Okay, rite of passage then.
Rite of passage, and I'm using that for two different things. Well, rite of passage is the whole. I forgot to put the whole Doc holiday thing. And
Yeah, we can talk. Well, I can talk about that after this.
we'll talk about that.
Or do you want to talk about this first? Doc
No,
Holliday
no.
first. Okay.
Rite of passage because it's easy and quick.
Yeah.
Rite of passage is the whole Kandahar thing with dolls.
Yeah, we kind of get some more background into Dolls' background. We find out that while he was in the Middle East in Kandahar, he was up to some mystical shenanigans.
Right.
Picked up some skills apparently back then.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this part where they want to call out the barber.
Mm-hmm.
So Dolls sets up this big ritual and does this incantation, draws spirits from the underworld to the present, or to the ritual.
Right.
Okay, one of the spirits inhabits Dolls' body, so he gets possessed.
Right.
And he's kind of like floating, and he's got the like glowy eyes.
Well, I was
and
watching
he's all talking into the word German. Blah, blah.
Outcast.
Yeah, pretty much. It was. Yeah, I kept waiting for Kyle Barnes to come in from
Right.
Outcast, with Reverend Anderson.
To darken and like Kyle to walk in. And
So that's kind of funny about these summer shows that we're doing with Preacher, Outcast, and Wynonna Earp is they could almost exist in the same fictional universe.
Yeah, they're all pretty dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and the characters could really cross over because there's a lot of similar themes and storylines. So
3 different comic book companies.
different approaches. Yeah, different comic book companies, 3 different approaches. But you could easily see one character showing up on another character's show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay.
Okay, and then the Doc Hollywood thing. Hollywood.
Doc Hollywood. No, wasn't that like a Michael J. Fox movie?
It was a Michael J. Fox movie, and what's his name? Woody Harrelson.
Right. Okay.
Oh, that's terrible. I'm very sorry.
Well, that one came out of nowhere.
No, his name is Doc Holliday. It's not that different. Okay, so
I'm
Doc
surprised
Holliday.
Blaine didn't get on you for that one. That was an obscure.
Our segue.
Yeah. We got it.
I deserve it for that.
All right.
Okay, so Doc Holliday, we find out a little bit more about him.
Right.
Don't laugh at me.
You were about to say Doc Hollywood again.
I was. Because we just made a big deal out of it.
I know.
This time it wasn't a slip-up. It was because we've said it 3 times.
All right.
So Doc...
See, you're going to say it again.
Now I have to think about before I talk now. Doc Holliday.
Yeah.
That's right?
Right.
Doc Holliday. We're getting more of his backstory now.
Yeah.
First of all, he has to prove that he's Doc Holliday, which was a great scene, I thought, with the trick shots that he makes.
Yeah.
Where he goes behind his back.
Yeah, Wynonna takes him like this dirt patch road somewhere, and then they do some target practice with there's cans and playing cards and all kinds of stuff set up on a fence somewhere.
And he shoots, just regular twice. And then he goes behind his back, and then he tips his hat forward so he can't see, and he shoots again. It's so great.
Being all show-offy.
And I was like, swoon. I was really. He was so cute when he did that. And he hands her a cigarette, too, which I thought was great.
So we find out that Doc made this bargain to achieve eternal life.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what's involved in that bargain.
Right. Do you think it might have something to do with the curse?
Maybe. Mm-hmm. Could it be Satan?
I forgot to get that clip.
Yeah, that's all right. So, yeah, apparently this deal let him keep his dashing good looks.
Right.
And all that nonsense. After he was sick and dying, and then we get some flashback scenes. We actually get to see Wyatt Earp this episode.
That's right.
Where Doc is dying in bed. Wyatt comes by just to say, well, taking off. See ya. Bye.
Come ride with me. And he says, no.
Yeah. I'm just going to stay here and die. And then the next thing you know, Wyatt comes back and sees oh, Doc's all up and around. Hi, how you doing?
With hookers.
Yeah, with hookers. So
he's got 2 hookers in bed.
Whores.
Hoes. Yep.
Yeah.
And Wyatt's not happy, and he realizes that.
Wyatt's kind of like, wait, what?
He's made
what just happened?
With the devil at that point. He actually knows he's made a deal with the devil because of some curse.
Right.
And so there must be some tie already
Mm-hmm.
to a curse. So
Running with the devil.
there's
Yeah.
we have to figure out what's going on there.
Right.
So we're going to learn more about that.
But yeah, we finally get a little bit of backstory. Much needed backstory.
Right. So he's more than he appears, definitely.
Obviously. But yeah. So we got that, and Doc ends up getting like framed for he finds this body that one of the barber killed in the bathroom. And of course, this is where it gets all Three's Company again, because Doc is there with a knife in his hands. Now, mind you, the knife isn't bloody.
I know.
But Waverly automatically assumes that, Doc stabbed it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I guess I'm standing here with a knife in my hand, and there's a dead
You
body.
want ants? Because that's how you get ants.
Because there's lots of blood on the floor.
Okay. I was trying to figure out, how do you use ants figure into
Lots of blood on the floor.
Okay.
Dirty.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, and they pull him in and they give him coffee and they question him. And I love how Dolls comes out after the questioning and he says, "So why weren't you telling me you were palling around with the ghost of Doc Holliday?" And Wynonna's like, "How do you know that?"
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. So great. And then she says, "Well, he's not a ghost. He made some deal for eternal life or something."
Now, I did notice that they tried to lighten Dolls up a little bit in this episode.
Mm-hmm, they did.
Which is definitely needed, because you've got to give him something. You can't just have him in the straight-faced robot. I mean, it's cute at first.
Yep.
But you can't keep him like that, because it's just going to make him annoying.
Yeah. And when he was, after the being inhabited his body and he was out on the floor, he got resuscitated.
Yes.
By Wynonna.
Yeah, there was a little bit of smoochy.
There was kind of.
Well, it's yeah.
It was resuscitation, but still.
Yeah.
She was hesitant to do it at first. She was like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to put my lips here."
Yeah.
I don't know where that mouth has been.
Good point.
Okay, so what's your rating?
Let's see. My rating is I was not impressed with this episode. I thought it was kind of lame a little bit. Kind of a step backward for a show that had been moving forward for me.
Right.
So I give it 7.5 out of 10 spirit tasers.
Right.
And that's a reference to a very annoying scene for me, because Doc ends up using this taser to take down, basically, like when Dolls is possessed and he's kind of getting out of control, Doc's supposed to use the taser to put him down. Now, I think it's Waverly. I'm trying to figure out if it was Waverly or Wynonna who says this line that, "Oh, if you use that taser, you're going to kill him."
Mm-hmm.
Like she asks, "How many volts is that? 50,000?"
How do they know that? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just like, okay, police use tasers all the time. People don't typically die with tasers.
Right.
So,
I know.
So I'm just like, why are you making such a big deal that you're going to kill Dolls with a taser?
They had it's like stun, kill, demon.
Yeah.
There's 3 settings on it.
Oh, it's got 3 settings.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh.
They had it turned up to 11.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I gave it a slightly higher grade, and it's only because of the Doc Holliday part.
Okay.
Because I like seeing his backstory in this. The other part, honestly, I mean, was just...
Yeah, you could care less about the barber storyline.
Couldn't care less about it.
Yeah.
So I give it 8 incredibly rapid healing throat wounds.
Because what was up with that?
Nicked in the throat, and she actually she touches it and pulls blood away.
Right.
And then in the next scene, she's driving along, and there's nothing on her neck.
No, you think it would? Take it from me as a guy. I've cut myself shaving.
It's still there.
Doesn't stop bleeding that easily, especially a nice big razor cut along. Like this cut was about, I'd say, a good 3/4 of an inch.
Yeah.
Across her Adam's apple,
center
or not her Adam's apple.
Where her Adam's apple.
Where Adam's apple would be if she was a guy. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly, and it was pretty big.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, it's gone. It's magic.
Completely gone in the next shot.
Maybe she's got Wolverine healing ability.
Somehow, I don't think so. But I gave it an 8, and it was because
she's
of
the
the Doc
chosen
Hollywood
one.
part. I mean, if it was a half-hour episode all about Doc,
Yeah.
I said Doc Hollywood again.
Yes, you did.
I'm calling myself out.
You know
about
that's going to be a Phil Parrish meme. You
Doc
know that.
Holliday.
You know this, right? Just wait for it. It's happening. This is happening.
Oh man, I'm so embarrassed. I'm red.
She is.
Doc Holliday.
You can't see it, but I can see it. She's
I'm
hiding.
hiding.
She's hiding behind her microphone right now.
I'm hiding behind the microphone. I feel so stupid.
Say for the listeners out there who don't know, she's got this big circular microphone.
I have a pop screen.
Yeah, so you can look that up to get an idea what it looks like if you don't know. But she's hiding behind it because
I'm blushing furiously because I've said Doc Hollywood about 10 times now.
But it's all kinds of adorbs.
It's Doc Holliday. Yeah, if it was a half-hour show about the backstory of Doc Holliday, it would have been a 9 because I love that part of the show.
But, however,
wasn't so.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was only like 15 minutes of that hour.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, all right. So that's our reviews for now. What else do we have?
We have some news since we only have 2 shows.
That's right. So let's actually talk about. We actually have time to talk about some news. How great is that?
A little bit of news.
All right. So why don't you run that down for us?
So here's some news. Constantine season 1 was picked up by the CW Seed for free streaming. And personally, I think this might be a test run to see how popular it is in order to include him in the shows. I don't think they're going to pick it up for a second season.
I don't either, but
I think they'll include Matt Ryan in their shows, though.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe he'll get this kind of arrangement that's been becoming very popular because we're getting characters that are now like, for example, what's his name? Captain Cold. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
Wentworth Miller.
Thank you. Wentworth Miller was recently signed as a character, a special series regular character that can appear on any of the Berlantiverse shows.
And our second news story is John Barrowman promoted to series regular across all CW Berlanti shows. So now you can say that.
Yep. So
and he has the same deal. And if the Constantine thing gets really popular, then they might give him that sort of a...
That's what I'm kind of wondering. But...
Where he can be like the resident, demon hunter dude.
And I think the reason the CW picked that or started airing the Constantine shows, Constantine was made by Warner Brothers Television. Now Warner Brothers Television also made like the 1990 Flash TV show, stuff like that. So generally, this is kind of where like the CW is using. It's kind of a forum that they've got content. They need to provide content for CW Seed, so they're kind of airing old Warner Brothers comic book shows there.
Right.
So I think, like maybe they'll air Young Justice if they're not already.
Sure.
So stuff like
that.
And
it doesn't hurt to float that out there to see how popular it is.
Right, exactly. And if so,
they've used him on the CW shows.
So all you Hellblazers that followed us over from Dangerous Habits, the Constantine podcast, why don't you hit the CW Seed up and give Constantine some love on that. That would be great.
That's right.
See if we can get some demand for Constantine. More Constantine is a good thing.
That's right.
So more of that, and Ryan as John Constantine is
even better. And then we have on Legends of Tomorrow, we get this from Mark Guggenheim himself. Season 2 will basically be Vixen, Citizen Steel, and Hourman joining the team and trying to fill the shoes of the non-existent Time Masters.
Right.
Which is an interesting way to go, I thought.
Yep. Now this is Vixen is going to be the modern day Vixen's grandmother.
Right.
The younger version of her grandmother.
Right.
So basically we're getting like Vixen's grandmother in her prime.
Right. Well, time travel-y.
Yeah, it's all timey-wimey. But it's played by a different actress. But they're doing this so that if Megalyn UK or EK
wants to come back
as the modern day Vixen, They've written it so that she can come back too.
Right.
It all depends on her schedule. Apparently, her schedule is really crazy because she's all of a sudden popular.
Right.
Yeah.
Oddly enough.
Yeah.
And on Marvel front, Chloe Bennett was interviewed, and she alludes to the fact that we might see a much darker Daisy, and she's actually calling her Dark Daisy, quote unquote.
Right.
In the upcoming season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Shouldn't that be Dark Quake?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But she calls her
Dark Daisy is alliterative. I get it.
I'm quoting her directly.
Yeah.
As Dark Daisy.
Right.
Jessie Graff, the Supergirl stunt woman, an American Ninja Warrior star, will give the boys a run for their money during the Los Angeles finals this Monday on American Ninja Warrior, which will probably have already aired by the time you hear this. But I was excited to hear that she's going up against the guys, which means the wall's going to be taller. She was the first female to run through the whole course and get every.
Yeah, you've been really into this story.
Just her, really?
Yeah, her little.
I don't like the show at all, but
you're maybe kind of interested in what she's been doing.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
And she's amazing.
Yeah, I bet.
She's just amazing. Watching her run that, I got really excited. The CW announced that it will air its new show's entire first season ahead. Oh.
That would be Supergirl, right?
Supergirl, yes.
Yeah.
CW announced that it will air Supergirl's entire first season ahead of the season 2 premiere on October 10th.
Yeah. And I think they're going to air like 2 episodes back to back.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, like it's not going to be like a whole day of Supergirl. It's just going to be like a binge watch.
Yeah, well, because it's a network and all they have is 2 hours blocked out. So yeah, they'll do a couple hours each week or something.
Right. And I believe it's the Huntress Diana.
So that's like 10 weeks. If they do it in 10 weeks, they could do 2 episodes a week for 10 weeks. Get through the entire season.
It's going to be on subsequent days, I think.
Maybe. Okay, that makes more sense. They can
get through it quicker. Much quicker than 10 weeks.
Okay, I would think. Yeah.
Yeah. The Huntress Diana, one of my good Twitter fans, Twitter followers and everything. She has a sheet made up with a Supergirl logo that she drew on the top and all the, here's what I'm going to watch when. And
nice.
So great. I love her.
So she's mapped out
her I'm ready. Yep.
That's great.
She's ready to go.
So has she not watched Supergirl?
No, she's a huge fan of Supergirl.
She's just a huge fan. So they're
to rewatch it.
Got it.
Danny Cannon unveiled a photo of Jada Pinkett Smith on Twitter.
Yeah.
Accompanied by the words Mooney's entrance, it confirms that the one-time owner of Mooney's nightclub will indeed play a role in the 3rd season of the Fox drama. And I put sigh at the end of that news.
I would like to add no.
Let me just say this. And you guys know I also do a Gotham-based podcast.
Right.
I was very glad to see that she did not hurt the last few episodes of last season.
She was watchable.
Well, and not bad, actually.
Right.
I mean, I think she had a pretty decent, and she actually had a part to play.
Well, hopefully they can keep that up.
But her exit was good.
Yes. Yeah, don't spoil it.
And I think they might be going to the well too much now.
Yeah.
Don't let it go to your head, guys. And now she's coming back, and I really don't have a big vote of confidence for that.
It's not encouraging, no.
Right. But they also say in that interview that we're definitely getting Talon and
the Court of
Owls, the Mad Hatter, and all those guys that we've reported on before. So I have faith that the other villains will maybe.
And we're getting a much older Poison Ivy.
Mm-hmm.
Because they recast the role.
She looks a lot like the younger Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
So.
She's. I think it's like I want to say a 6-year difference.
About that, yeah.
So
she looks like she's in her mid-teens.
Yeah. So apparently, whatever is going, hinky stuff is going on at the that laboratory. I'm blanking on the name of the laboratory.
It's just Miracle Grow.
It's Miracle Grow. You get one of those little things that you put in, those little
suppositories.
Yeah, one of those things.
Plant suppository.
Plant suppository, nice.
Right.
popular it is, then she sprouts up like a daisy.
That's right.
Oh wait, no, Daisy's on Agents of Dark Daisy. No, wait, Dark Daisy's on Agents of Shield. My mistake.
Right.
But yeah,
It's Miracle Grow.
just put some water on.
Does that redeem
some
me for
plant
the
food? A little bit.
other
Yeah, I'd say
soft
so.
holiday?
I'd say so.
Okay, good.
You were always redeemed in my eyes.
Well, thank you.
So
That's
all
the
right.
end of news.
That's the end of news. We actually had a little. Yep. So, and I gather we have some feedback this
We
week.
do. We have one piece of feedback, and again, it's from Zub.
Zub, yeah, Zub Xerox.
Woohoo!
And I'm dying to know the origin of that name.
I know.
Is that like a gamer tag or something?
I don't know. Get back to us, please.
Yeah, please let us know. I'm dying of curiosity.
Because it's awesome, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it's cool.
And Zub says, "Dear Karen and Charles,"
Hello.
and she puts the names correctly.
It's a she, right?
Is it?
I don't know. You said she.
I didn't. I said Zub says, "Dear Karen and Charles."
Oh, okay. All right.
First up, I give the 6th episode of Preacher 9.5 amazingly directed shots of a hole in the wall. During this week, I thought some more about my appreciation for Preacher, especially compared to my opinions on Outcast and Wynonna Earp. Even though some storylines on Preacher are totally disconnected from the main plot and it's not really clear when and where those storylines connect, something about the show just captures my attention. Maybe the main storyline is interesting and entertaining enough to keep me on the edge of my seat. I know all 3 shows are based on comic books, so for all 3 shows, there is a basic outline of story somewhere, and the writers should know how the different plot lines are connected. For me as a viewer, this is not immediately apparent. With Preacher, though, I immediately got the feeling that they will at some point. Mm-hmm. Outcast, on the other hand, seems to have a weaker main plot. There is just something that makes Outcast less captivating to me than Preacher. Maybe it is the pace of the main plot. Maybe it is the quality of the acting/directing on Outcast. Side note, the creepy kid squashing and eating that cockroach was great. Maybe it is that whole premise of the show seems less original than Preacher. Possession storylines have been done very well before in movies and TV.
I would agree with that, but I think it's mostly the pace.
Yeah, it's much slower than
Preacher. It's a very slow burn.
I would say it's like a southern sultriness slow.
Yeah.
Outcast. It seems southern to me.
Well, it's West Virginia.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's everything goes that slow in the South.
Right.
Things are different again for Wynonna Earp. The premise and the entire universe of the show seems simpler and smaller, as does the plot. And again, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
It feels more procedural with the Revenant of the Week, and characters seem simpler and more stereotypical.
I agree.
Waverly is the eye candy pretty girl. At least they gave her some smarts. Agent Dolls is the hardline, somewhat shady, but mostly boring agent, and so on.
I would agree with that.
Throw in some seemingly unmotivated love stories and some formulaic bad guys, and you end up with a show that, while entertaining enough, I feel could have been a lot better. Okay, maybe my criticism is a bit harsh.
It's not.
No, I don't think so.
It's not. It's pretty dead on.
I like Wynonna Earp.
Yeah. It could be better.
It could be better. I agree.
That's all we say. It could be better.
But the recent wave of comic book shows has set a fairly high standard. Let's ignore the last season of Arrow.
I know, right?
You're right. And I feel like Wynonna Earp is somewhat below average. Consequently, the only show I watch as soon as it is available is Preacher.
Good call.
Amen.
Good call.
Same here.
Good call.
I watch Preacher live when I can.
I watched Preacher live. I don't have Cinemax, so I can't watch Outcast live. It would be on Friday nights. I would watch it live because there's rarely anything on Friday nights.
Yeah.
Since NBC canceled Constantine.
Right, but Preacher is a. If I can watch it live, I watch it live.
Yeah.
That's
a must. Yeah.
Okay, back to the.
Unless Game of Thrones is on.
No, I still watch Preacher live.
Yeah. Okay.
Outcast and Wynonna are more for rainy days. And I wanted to put Mondays in there, but with nothing else to do. Rating the first 4 episodes of each show, I would give Preacher a 9, Outcast a 7.5, and Wynonna a 7. As a side note, it really is the chemistry between you two as hosts
Yay.
that makes this a great podcast. Add to that a seemingly endless knowledge of all things comic book, and this is basically a must listen for any fan of the comic book TV adaptations currently running. This is Zub signing off and trying not to step on any of the corpses on the way out the door.
Nice. Thank you, Zub.
Yeah, thank you.
Well observed, by the way, I should point out. So
Well, and we're talking about the show stuff.
Right.
I mean, it's nice of you to say seemingly endless knowledge. It's not endless.
It's not endless. No. It's what we can remember, but we remember quite a bit. And I want to you bring up an interesting point, Zub, because as a side note, I was just listening recently to a new Preacher podcast, just out of curiosity. And the hosts were making a point that they didn't know anything about the comic. Okay.
That scares me.
It does scare me. And both of them.
Okay.
They're like, well, we don't really know anything about the comic, but we feel qualified to talk about Preacher.
Why did they do a podcast?
I don't know.
Okay.
They really enjoy the show, apparently.
Okay, that's good.
Which is good. But, so, I like to think that we here at the Parsec Award nominated The Phantom Zone podcast. Sorry. I like to think that we're geeks. We're comic geeks. We really we know generally what we're talking about when it comes to at least to the comics.
Right.
Okay.
And it's
I like to think that adds something.
When they have enthusiasm for what they're talking about, but they also bring the knowledge of the subject matter behind it, because I don't like to talk about stuff that I don't know anything about.
Right.
I don't know about you, but I just don't.
I don't claim to be a perfect authority by any means.
Right.
But I like to think that I know something. I can at least feel qualified to discuss it.
Right.
And especially in context with the comics and how that transfers, because, what all the shows we talk about here, and we talk about a lot of shows, are basically they're television shows based on comic books. So it kind of makes sense, I would think, if you're talking about comic book shows, to know something about the comics, is my point.
Right. Or at least want to go back and look them up. Or
I would think that, if you didn't know anything about the comics, why not try the comic and see what you think?
I don't want to be elitist, though. I mean, if they really like the show, then I'm glad that they're talking about it. I don't want to...
Yeah, but I would think
I don't want to poo-poo it.
I don't either, but it would be, it would be nice if, like, okay, if you didn't know anything about the comics, maybe have somebody on who does.
See, and that's what Emily and I do for Made of Steel, for the Supergirl podcast. Right. She hasn't read the comics, but I have, so we do the two perspective thing.
And Jesse Jackson and I do that with Next Stop Everywhere, the Doctor Who podcast, because I'm the old school Doctor Who fan.
Right.
And Jesse isn't. He's all modern.
Right.
I'm a fan of both. So therefore, when we start talking about classic Doctor Who, I can offer some insight that he isn't aware of because he isn't into that or hasn't been into it. So. Right.
And you're trying to educate him, which is what I'm trying to do.
And that's part of our dynamic is that we come at it different perspectives. And so therefore we can kind of hopefully appeal to a broader audience as a result.
But that's one of the things I get told a lot is that, hey, we're really grateful for the added dimension that you add to things because the background on this stuff. So I really appreciate it when people bring that up because it means something to me that when I add that extra dimension, it's not just me being a know-it-all.
Yeah. And I don't think we talk about obsessively about comic book detail.
No, and I'm hoping we're not spoiling stuff. I like to just tantalize people with it.
Right.
Keep that in mind for later. We do that a little bit, but yeah. And of course, on Made of Steel, I do the Cougars Comic Corner, where I tie a comic book into read that might have something to do with the next episode.
Recommended reading.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Why not?
Because it also gives Emily something to read.
Yep.
My co-host and.
So I guess all of you out there are probably a better judge if we're overloading you with comic book geeking.
The
But-
only feedback I've ever gotten from people that listen to us is that they enjoy the fact that we know what we're talking
Okay.
about.
Well, if we go overboard, let us know.
Please do.
But we try to inform as we ramble on about stuff.
And how could they do that?
Oh, that's a good question. Why don't you hit us up on our Gmail account at phantomzonecast@gmail.com, like Zub did.
Right on.
Yeah, right on. So yeah, Zub knew the score, knew how to contact us. So yeah, phantomzonecast@gmail.com. Or you can find us on our Phantom Zone podcast Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
Hit us up there. Phantom Zone @Phantom Zonecast on the Twitter.
That's right.
So you can hit us up there. Plenty of places to contact us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up to you if you don't.
That's right.
It's not on us. We made it. We're out there.
That's right.
So we're putting it out there.
Pigeon?
What?
Carrier pigeon.
Yeah, exactly.
That. Mm-hmm.
Mystical spell, matter transformer,
Sure.
transporter. Owl. Yeah, owl.
Even though I have never read those books, I'm sure.
Oh, the Harry Potter books.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
you
sure
can do
there's
that.
an owl. That's a thing, right?
Yeah, that's a thing in the Harry Potter. Yeah.
Okay.
That's basically, instead of email, they have owl mail.
Okay.
So there you go.
See, I know enough pop culture to get that.
Yeah, and then Game of Thrones, it's like a raven, stuff like that.
A raven or a dire wolf.
There you go.
Mhm.
Preferably the raven, because dire wolves tend to eat people.
Those are very sweet dire wolves.
True. They're very loyal. I'll give them that.
That's true.
All right. Okay, so Karen, where can they find you?
They can find me at Aliveria
Mhm.
on Twitter. And also there's a link there that can direct you to my WordPress page.
Mhm.
There is a pinned post at the top of the page where you can find me.
Most outstanding.
With all of my linky links.
Linkage.
And where can they find you, Charles?
They can find me at Charles Skaggs on the Twitter machine.
That is right.
Also on the Instagram at Charles Skaggs.
That's right.
Google Plus for all you crazy kids on the Google Plus. Now up to 103.
Woohoo!
Ooh, who knew there were that many people on Google Plus?
Amazing.
I got them all, baby.
That's right. That's all of them.
Yep, I think that's everybody on Google Plus. 103 people. I've got them. All right. Let's see what else. Facebook, of course. Charles Skaggs. My blog of geeky things, Damn Good Coffee and Hots, where I talk about all these comic book shows that we talk about, including more. Just recently posted about the Flash movie, possible casting of Iris West.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if that happens or not.
I just read that today, actually.
Yes. Yeah, so it's possibly in the works. We'll see if that happens.
Mhm.
And all kinds of stuff, all, like comics, sci-fi, you name it, I talk about it whenever possible. And hopefully you enjoy it, and let me know what you think about it too.
I have 68 followers
You have
on the
60
Google Plus.
on the Google Plus,
See, you beat me on the Google Plus.
but you crush me on Twitter. You destroy me on Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm only at like 430, and that's like, with like underwear models, spam bots.
I have underwear model spam bots too.
Okay.
They come and go. They
I
come
know.
and go.
And I miss them when they go. But it's just like, well, I got to look at your picture for about a day or so, and then you mysteriously vanished into the Twitter ether. But yeah.
Yeah, happens to me all the time.
But yeah, please follow me on Twitter. I'd appreciate it.
Please do.
And
Skaggs.
and please give us some likes on Facebook. We're kind of stuck on 85. I'd like to get us up to 100.
Yeah, but it's a decent number. I'm happy. with
Yeah,
it.
I'm not going to complain about the 85 by any means. But
Right.
we would just like to get to 100 because it's
Sure.
cool. We say, oh, we got 100 followers. That's much cooler than 85. So
That's right.
just throwing that out there.
Oh, and your comment on that one post on there. Wouldn't this be the Walking Dead pool? Oh my God. I laughed out loud.
Yeah.
And
Just
for
seemed like
you that
pretty
don't
obvious.
get that,
Yeah. Go to our Facebook our Facebook page, Phantom Zone Podcast,
that's right.
and see what I'm talking about. It seemed obvious to me.
Yeah.
The Walking
It didn't even occur to me until you said it, and then I spit out my coffee.
It just seemed right there.
So good.
Okay. All right. So I think that's enough of us. You've put up with our nonsense for a while. Get all your chores done.
It was a nice laid back episode.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Pretty much.
back to
It's
3
nice when we
next
have
week.
just 2 episodes. We can just kind of ease into stuff and get
You know,
into
we
stuff.
really should have covered 2 episodes of Wynonna Earp this week.
Oh well.
But it's all right. We're good.
We're fine. I think we're fine. I think we're gonna need them.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of the shows don't start till like mid-September.
October. Some of them are October.
Yeah. So.
Supergirl's October.
Yeah. So we might have to. We might need to pad that out a little. We'll see how it goes. But
I'm sure we can find stuff to do.
yes, we can. Because we're that good.
Yeah, we're that good.
All right. So.
At least that's what my husband tells me.
All right. Everybody have a good week. We'll see you back here with 3 shows next week, right here on the Phantom Zone podcast.
Where I will be in charge.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's much better when Karen's in charge.
That's what I hear.
I thought you were going to continue the porn music there for a minute. Oh yeah.
That is all I hear.
Oh,
All right.
All right.
So we'll talk to you next week.
Right on.
Bye, guys.